There's a lot of bad information out there about the pH of the body, and the reality is correcting a pH imbalance can improve some health issues in a big way. But if you're just taking the advice of all the alkalizing gurus out there without understanding how pH actually works, you can magnify or even create some significant health issues. You do not want to miss this.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So the bloodstream has a very narrow pH value that it must stay within in order for the body to function properly. And if the blood moves too far to the acidic or even too far to the alkaline side, we can literally die. So the body doesn't really want that to happen. So it does whatever it can to keep the bloodstream in a balanced pH level. Now, in the natural world, when people talk about pH, they're often talking about, hey, we need you to alkalize. Alkalize or die, they're all telling us. You're gonna alkalize by this Thursday or you're dead like a rock. So these pH gurus explain how we're all too acid and it's killing us all one by one. Shut up, phone, I'm talking to people. Now, of course, when someone follows these approaches and tries to alkalize themselves and they completely fall apart, the pH guru tells them, oh, that's okay. You're just going through a healing crisis. Just stick with it and you'll be fine. And that's not right. What they're currently going through is a guru crisis. There appears to be a few pH gurus out there that are just telling everybody that the same approach is right for every human being. And that's just not how the body works. So these readers who started to feel really bad when they followed these processes of alkalizing themselves were likely falling apart because they were pushing an imbalance that already existed even further over the edge. Just remember, this is really important, that it's impossible for an imbalance to exist without having the ability for an imbalance in the opposite direction. So if somebody told you that the same glasses would fix everyone's eyesight, you would look at him like he was an idiot. You know that's not right. We know that reading glasses can help farsighted people, while nearsighted individuals usually need something that's totally opposite in that kind of lens for them to be able to see properly. So the haphazard confusion starts here. Some individuals truly are too, what I'm going to say, acidic. And we'll talk about what that means in just a minute. For now, I'm just going to use the same ignorant terminology that most of the pH gurus use. So when an individual is dealing with an acid imbalance and they start to follow these processes that the alkalizing gurus are telling them to do, they truly can see amazing health benefits. In some cases, the results can appear almost miraculous, but let's just all calm down for just a second. So if we know that every imbalance, like an acid imbalance, will have an opposite imbalance in the other direction, what are these pH gurus doing to the people that have an alkaline imbalance, which is the opposite of an acid imbalance? They're making these individuals miserable and calling it a healing crisis. That's what's happening. So to go right along with all of the pH and alkalizing books and experts out there, we also find shelves upon shelves of alkalizing products in pretty much every health food store. You can't throw a stick down the aisle of a health food store without hitting somebody that says it's going to alkalize. Hey, this product will alkalize you real nice. So it's also likely that these products will increase in popularity, since a lot of people will reap benefits from using them. A lot of people will reap benefits from correcting an acidity issue. So once we go over the acid and alkaline imbalances in this video in just a minute, you'll understand how troubling this could be for some people. Now, the most important thing to understand is that when we discuss an acid or alkaline imbalance, we're talking about blood pH. Measuring urine pH and saliva pH in context with breath hold and breath rate can really be incredibly insightful and very useful, and can give indications for other imbalances that might be going on in the body. But urine pH or saliva pH are not always an indication of the pH of the blood, as many of the pH gurus will have you believe. So if you're just measuring your urine pH and it shows up on the acidic side and you think, oh, I try to alkalize my whole body, well, that can be very problematic. It's extremely common for us to see a person with an acidic urine pH, yet their blood is leaning too far on the alkaline side. So when they take steps to alkalize their body, they magnify the problem that imbalance can create. And you're going to see in just a minute that those problems can be substantial. So the reality is that different areas of the body should exist in different pHs. Like the blood should lean slightly on the alkaline side, just very slightly though, and while the stomach should be very acidic. So don't view the body as like it's acidic or it's alkaline. That's just not reality, and it has nothing to do with science. It's something you would see on the Muppet Show or something like that. So instead of looking at your urine and saliva pH and think that that has anything to do with your blood pH, we like to measure breath rate and breath hold. So to do this, you just want to relax and set like a timer on your phone for 1 minute so you're not watching the clock. And just lie there and try to breathe normally. It can be a little hard to do this on yourself. It's nice if you have someone else that can count your breaths for you and you just kind of have your thoughts go to happy things and maybe the Muppet Show again. But you just want to count how many times you inhale in 60 seconds. So you don't want to count inhale 1, exhale 2, just count the inhales. So what happens is CO2 in the blood is acidic. So if the blood is leaning too alkaline, it'll slow the rate at which it's breathing to hold on to more CO2 and acidify that blood a little bit. So we can look at our breath rate and that can give us an idea if the blood is leaning too acidic or too alkaline. You really want your breath rate to be around 14 to 18. That's pretty optimal. And if a breath rate is lower than 14, then that's an indication that the blood may be leaning a little bit on the alkaline side. If the breath rate is over 18, that can be an indication that the blood is leaning a little too far on the acid side. Now, alkalosis is what we call it. It's basically an alkaline imbalance, is where the blood is leaning too alkaline. And when the blood leans alkaline, oxygen can't leave the bloodstream to go down to the tissues where it needs to be and to help the body create energy and do all those things that oxygen's used for. Oxygen's kind of a big deal. Now, in science, this is known as the Bohr effect. And we all learned about this in 8th grade science class, but then it seems we never hear about it again. So if a doctor checked your oxygen, he put a little pulse oximeter on your finger, and he checks your oxygen, he's like, oh man, your oxygen's great. The problem is, if the bloodstream is leaning too alkaline, the oxygen can't be released from the bloodstream and get into the tissues where it needs to be used. So the result can be you're wiped out, and it's like oxygen is there, it just can't get to the right location in order to be properly utilized. So in an effort to correct this, when the bloodstream is too alkaline, the body just slows the rate at which it's breathing. Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is acid inducing in the bloodstream, so the body tries to reduce the amount that you breathe in order to hold on to more of that CO2. And that just allows you to acidify that bloodstream and balance things out. It's a pretty neat trick that Mother Nature came up with, don't you think? But when you start using these things like, oh, I'm going to alkalize myself, you're just punching Mother Nature in the face. Mother Nature, you're stupid. I'm going to take care of this. And you push this alkaline imbalance further into problematic situations. So by using the CO2 to acidify the bloodstream by slowing down the breath rate, then some oxygen can be released from the bloodstream and make it down to the tissue level and the body can function. So here's some possible symptoms that could come up if your body is leaning too alkaline. Now, a lot of these symptoms have other possible causes, but these are issues that can come up when the blood is too alkaline. It's chronic fatigue can be a major issue, sleep apnea, joint and muscle pain or some types of arthritis, allergies and asthma, muscle cramps, and fluid retention. So when we're looking at sleep apnea, a lot of cases it's a structural issue where a flap doesn't seem to be flapping correctly. But there's also a lot of issues where the bloodstream is leaning far too alkaline and the breath rate drops so low that the person basically stops breathing. It's like the body's like, hey, I'm going to kill this person if I got to get some oxygen down to the tissues, and they just kind of stop breathing. So that can be one problem with sleep apnea. But when you look at all the trouble an overly alkaline bloodstream can cause, do you see how important it is to look at people as individuals and measure where they are before you start suggesting everybody needs to alkalize? Come on, we're all going to die. So just because something brings about an amazing result for one person doesn't mean that it's going to turn someone else into a zombie. You really got to look at the person. Now, when we're looking at an acid imbalance, this can be a little bit of a different story. And basically, one cause of an acid imbalance can be an imbalance with potassium, or maybe an inability of the kidneys to properly excrete the acid, and then all of a sudden this balance is lost. And the breath rate in these individuals becomes a lot faster because the kidneys, they're unable to easily control the acid level in the bloodstream, so they can be helped by the lungs huffing off the CO2. And we reduce that CO2, you reduce the acidity in the bloodstream. Now, these people will normally have a short breath hold. They won't be able to hold their breath as long as someone with a very low, slow breath rate. So when you're exposing the fact that the kidneys are not having an easy time controlling the pH of the blood, this can be remedied, and depending on the cause, by assisting the system to buffer the acids more effectively and excreting them. But this is not always just a failure to excrete acids, it's a failure to buffer them. So an inability to properly digest protein can often be an issue with people in these cases. And we have a lot of videos about digestion, and you can check the links in the description below, and we'll give you some of our videos explaining how digestion is supposed to work. And it's really common to see that not happening. So that can be a big problem. So we'll put the link below that in the video. Now, obviously, it's more profitable for the industry to sell green drinks and alkalizing supplements than it is to help a person better digest their protein. Yet, in some cases, improving digestion and protein digestion specifically can be a great step towards helping these people that are leaning too far on the acidic side. So, some of the symptoms that can show up for an overly acidic imbalance are shortness of breath, a rapid heart rate, allergies, poor retention of important mineral nutrients, fluid retention, poor function of the kidneys, and digestive issues. So you can see how important it is to know your own bioindividuality before you just start taking steps to alkalize your body just because all the cool kids are alkalizing their body. So we have a free digestion course. It's totally free, and it kind of walks you through some of these simple self-tests that you can do at home and with equipment you can buy at a health food store or a pharmacy or something. So we'll put the link to that free course in the description below. For now, check out our video on 5 mistakes that may be trashing your liver to gain more health insights.